Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. I today am really excited to be bringing to you a book series that I started in like January and haven't done since then. So I'm bringing you just some middle grade book releases. September middle grade book releases that I'm excited about. I'm excited about this video because it's a series that I started at the start of the year and was like, this is going to be awesome, and then I just never really did it again. But it is something that I want to do. I want to, you know, when you think of your idea of what is my channel is very much becoming, you know, a strength, a sort of having a middle grade fiction focus, and that is something that I want to sort of focus more on. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop reading other books and just reading middle grade, but do you know what? This is what a lot of people associate my channel with, and a lot of my channel and my reading passion is about wanting children to read more, and if I can make children more aware of new book releases, they might just do that. So that's what I'm going to do. So here's book number one. The first book that is coming out that I'm sort of excited about and I saw and thought that looks cool was called Squirm by Hiaasen. That is definitely not how you pronounce his surname. When I looked at the synopsis, I mean, it basically seems to imply, it says, here's some facts about Billy Dickens, blah, 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 blah. But it basically seems that he's just found his, he's got this weird mixed up family. He's just found out his dad's address and he wants to go. This summer, Billy will fly across the country, hike a mountain, float a river, dodge a grizzly bear, shoot down a spy drone, save a neighbour's cat, save an endangered panther, and then try to save his own father. Well done, Billy. I kind of like the quirky way that the synopsis was done, and that it was done in kind of a list style, which gave me the feeling that that was going to be the character's head. It was kind of very listy, very factual. And it just kind of, it appealed to me, I think, because I got the vibe that there's obviously going to be a strong theme around family, but also that kind of adventure survival story is something that I really enjoy. And I think people who, you know, going out in the wilderness and, oh, grizzly bears and stuff, it was kind of cool. And there's an animals theme. So I kind of like, it's got family, it's got survival, and it's got animals. So it ticks all the boxes for me, and it may be a book that I will read. So the next book which I want to tell you about is Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. Now this has an 11-year-old child who has obviously, because all children in books has had life tragedy. Lost a mother in a plane crash, sought solace in books. I mean, straight away you're going, you're connecting, you're like, yep, this is mine. But long story short, goes on a trip, blah, 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 blah. On the ride home, the bus breaks down. This is the bit that gets me. Ollie's digital wristwatch starts a mysterious countdown with the word run spelled out on the face. I mean, that to me sounds scary, and I am a fully grown adult. Not without my phobias, it must be said, but I think it just sounds spooky. And on the front, this kind of, the cover is this, as you will have seen, because I will include it, it's got this kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas feel about it. So I think basically anyone that is looking for a horror book is going to love it. But there's also that, if you, somebody that, and lots of people do, find escapism in books, I think you're going to connect with the main character as well, so that really appealed to me. Next up, we have the most beautiful book cover on this list. And that book is Otherwood by Hautman. It is a beautiful cover. I mean, it's definitely got a cover sell for me. I would want to read it straight away. But it basically says, what happened in the woods that day? Hautman's riveting middle grade novel touches on secrets and mysteries. And it's basically two characters, so you've got a great tale of friendship straight from the get-go, who go off into the woods and something happens and it's all full of secrets and mystery and, oh, what happened? And I think I would really enjoy reading it because from the way it appears, it withholds that information. Something happens, you know something happened, and you're seeing the fallout from it, but you want to know what has happened that's caused these characters to behave like this. So I kind of like the idea of the really strong friendships, but you've also got that mystery and suspense and the secret keeping. I just thought it sounded really cool. I love a good sort of thriller, and I particularly like middle grade thrillers because I'm not good at figuring out the clues that adult literature leaves for me. Next up, we have The Hotel Between by Easley. Now this is sort of, again, it tells the story of two twins, and there's a real strong sort of family vibe going on, as there often is in middle grade literature. Their mother's died, but their father's fate remains a mystery. One of them thinks that they've been abandoned, the other one is determined to prove them wrong. They go somewhere and crazy stuff ensues. Magical trolleys, stone elephants that turn to life. It is a proper fantasy book. Probably the book on this list that would appeal least to me as a reader, because I'm not a big fantasy reader, but I can see that people who are will love it, and there are so many people who love fantasy who will want to get lost in that sort of magical and crazy world. So I think you've got that magic, the magical element, the fantasy element, but you've also got that family drama. Is that the right word? I often find that lots of middle grade literature is led by family stories, family tales, family problems, and that would be really interesting. That would be the most interesting part for me. After that we have The Black Amulet by J.R. Wallis. Now this is the book on this list that is actually part of a series. It's the second book in the series, but I'm bringing it to you anyway. I try to avoid series because I feel like usually if you're going to read a series it's because you've read the earlier books. But this I've read The Boy with One Name, which is here, earlier in the year and absolutely loved it, and I'm really excited. I have this book on pre-order and I'm really excited for it to come out. It basically follows the story of a kid called Jones, who is just awesome because he only has a surname. He has The Boy with One Name. And also a girl called Ruby. He is a monster hunter and doesn't want to be. She is not a monster hunter and wants to be because she can do anything a boy can do. Ruby speaks to my heart there. She really does. I have no idea really what the sequel is about, but I know that it's continuing their journey. So it's going to have friendship, it's going to have monsters, it's going to have amazing fantasy. So if you're into monster stories and you like a strong female character, then you're going to love it. The final book that I'm bringing you today is Planet Grief by Monique Polak, something like that. I probably shouldn't include this on the list because it's referred to as YA, but actually the middle grade level that I read at, I think there's a lot of overlap. Maybe that's a topic for another video. There's a lot of overlap between middle grade and YA, and who decides? Who decides? Not me. But the synopsis for this book was just so incredible that I felt I needed to include it on the list. I mean, basically it describes two characters, a boy and a girl. I mean, obviously it's YA. Who have been sent away to a retreat for the weekend to deal with their issues. Now, neither of them want to be there, but, you know, will being there help them to save their issues? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will. I think for me, I really like the idea. It's character driven. I really like the idea that you've got these two characters who are at this retreat who obviously are going to have some traumatic or distressing background, which is always interesting to explore, but also how they are then going to interact with other characters, other kids that they meet at this retreat. And there was some reference somewhere to it being to do with how people deal with loss that I just thought it sounded like quite a powerful book to me, and it's one that I'm really intrigued by. So although it's apparently classified as YA, but I have no idea who makes those rules, I think that potentially it could be a really good book. You know, everybody deals with loss. Every single person is going to deal with it in one way or another, or to deal with, you know, you've gone through something difficult and you don't know how to process that. You don't want to process it, and they're kind of being forced into it. It might just explore. I could be really disappointed, but it might just explore, you know, how to cope with that. So those are some of the middle grade and YA books that are coming out in September that I'm really excited about. I have already started preparing an October video, so this is not a one-off. This is at least a two-off. If you know of any books that have been released in September that you're excited about or I haven't mentioned in this video, please mention them below. If you know any that are coming out in October that you think I should include in that video, please let me know. I'm really excited about this series. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the amount of money that I am now going to spend on books, because the more you look into the new books that are coming out, the more you want to buy them. But anyway, we can deal with that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.